This is a full story. Kitten wishes you all a happy and enjoyable story. I came home early from a business trip and found an extra pair of men's shoes on the floor. Frightened, I tiptoed out the door with my bag. That was close. I almost forgot my wife was dating someone recently. I dragged my luggage to the gazebo in the neighborhood, lit a cigarette, watched the scenery, and waited for my wife to finish. Next time I won't fly with Mountain Airlines. They got me home 2 hours early. Didn't leave my wife any time at all. Really messed up her sweet moment. That guy is my wife's first love. They dated for 3 years in high school. Broke up in college because of long distance. A few months ago, they rekindled at a class reunion. People say love from student days is the purest, and that's absolutely true. I've read all their chat history. So affectionate, sweet, and entangled. I even couldn't help shipping them. Such a perfect pair of childhood sweethearts. Why couldn't they just be together? Then I put my phone down and realized, wait a second, she's my wife. All right. You play Romeo. She plays Juliet. And I the legally wedded husband. Just when I was lost and thought my phone rang. It was the wife of my wife's first love. Where's your woman? I knew she had probably discovered her husband vanished again. I said, don't bother looking. Your husband's at my place right now. The other end went quiet. Then she gritted her teeth. Lied to me again. Said he was working overtime. In bed, I guess. How many times has it been this month? How many times? I opened my notes. Counted the tally marks, 2 verticals and a cross. 12 times. I answered truthfully. So sweet, the two of them. Has your husband talked about divorce? Nope. That's strange. My wife's been pushing him hard. Last week she almost broke down and confessed everything. Scared the hell out of me. Thought I'd be divorced before I could get my revenge. Can you stop being sarcastic? Okay, no more jokes. Seriously, I can't wait anymore. I'm ready to act. We'll follow the plan. All good on your side. All good. Hung up. I checked the time. Only 30 minutes had passed. Suddenly felt like toying with them a bit. Called my wife. It rang for a long time before she picked up. Husband, I said cheerfully. Sweetheart, I'm at the gate. Did you miss me? Haley let out a scream. You weren't supposed to be here for another hour. I came early. Surprise, huh? Unexpected. Oh, yes, a surprise. I heard rustling sounds through the phone. They were probably scrambling in panic. Honey, you must be carrying heavy luggage. Why don't you rest at the entrance? I'll come down to get you. Haley quickly came up with a delaying tactic. Smart in a rush. No need. I'm almost at our building. 10 minutes tops. Honey, we're out of soy sauce at home. Could you grab a bottle from the downstairs store? And hand soap too. By your damn self. I hung up. I'm still a kind person. Walked slowly. Gave them a few more minutes to prepare. Then I bumped right into the first love guy at the apartment entrance. The moment he saw me, he froze, then lowered his head, hurried past me. Hair a mess. Eyes panicked. Shirt buttons misaligned under the suit. Pants sagging. Hey, just as he was stepping out, I called to him. He froze. Didn't dare look back. I held back a laugh. Pointed to the name card on the ground. Dropped something, buddy. He let out a sigh of relief. Picked it up, turned, and walked away. In his rush, his briefcase fell. Paper spilled everywhere. Looks like he came to my place. Straight after meeting a client. Really racing against the clock, huh? And there I go shipping them again. Took the elevator. Entered the code. Opened the door. First thing I noticed, a strong scent of air freshener. Haley rushed to block my way. Face flushed. Breathing uneven. Clothes messy. What were you doing at home? I dragged my luggage into the bedroom. So tired. Haley stayed close to me, blocking the view of the bathroom. Looks like that part wasn't cleaned up in time. Spring cleaning, she said guiltily. The bed was piled high with clothes. Sheets undone. Just made it messy, eh? Creative solution, honestly. I sat on the bed. The blanket was still warm. Do you smell something? I sniffed. Do I? I don't smell anything. Haley's face tensed. I leaned closer, put on a serious face. Wait, there's a man scent on you. Her face turned ghostly white, like invisible hands were choking her. You used my body wash, right? I smiled. She let out a breath, pretended to be mad, punched my chest. Get out of here, always joking around. Huh. My eyes narrowed. What's that red mark on your neck? Just when she relaxed, I startled her again. She instinctively covered her neck, mumbled, mosquito bite, in the middle of winter, maybe an allergy. She tugged her collar. Could have brushed against some pollen on the way to work. I smiled at her. Beads of sweat started to appear on her forehead. Oh, I nodded. I thought someone kissed you. Stop it. She shoved me. I was darting around. Don't always joke like that. I'm not joking, I said. While I was gone, you've been fooling around. Haley was struck like lightning. Eyes widened, lips trembling. I pointed at the dining table. Piles of half-eaten takeout. Didn't you say that stuff was unhealthy? I leave, and you start binging. Haley came back to herself. She wiped her forehead. I was busy at work, and with you gone, no one cooked for me. Stop scaring me like that. In just a few minutes, I had tricked her 3 times. She could barely speak straight. Watching her so flustered, filled me with indescribable satisfaction. I could hardly wait to see what her face would look like when I finally reveal the truth. I admit, there's something a little twisted in me. Evening. Haley had just taken a shower. She held me close trying to make love. A wave of nausea surged in me. I almost couldn't hold it back. I quickly made an excuse, said I was too tired, then collapsed onto the bed, pretending to fall asleep. She didn't suspect a thing. After a while, she softly called my name. When I didn't respond, she tiptoed into the bathroom. Moments later, my phone vibrated. A hidden app I'd installed on her phone had just sent over all her recent activity. First love guy, he didn't get suspicious right. Haley, no, he's just a bit nuts. First love guy, good. I was scared to death today. Haley, what are you afraid of? We're getting divorced soon anyway. First love guy, wiping sweat emoji. Haley, have you told your wife yet? How much longer? I can't live like this anymore. First love guy, I'm working on it. Haley, still working on it. It's been forever. If you don't tell her, I'll tell her myself. First love guy, no, please don't. Divorce is no joke. There's a lot to sort out. Haley, I'm giving you one last week. First love guy, let's talk about it later. Only 1 week left. I sat up in bed, added Haley's parents, her uncle and aunt, her classmates and close friends, into one group chat. Me, sorry to disturb everyone so late. Here's the thing. It's almost our anniversary. So this weekend I've prepared a surprise for Haley. I'd like to invite you all to witness it, and we can have a nice gathering too. Haley's best friend, wow Rocky. You're so romantic. Mother-in-law, Rocky, what anniversary? Your wedding anniversary isn't for a while. Me, it's our 8-year dating anniversary. Me, mom, you must come. We'll even film a vlog to remember the moment. Haley's colleague, can you give us a hint? What's the gift? Me, flowers cake. And that bag Haley's had in her shopping cart, but never bought. I got them all, but please keep it a secret. I want to surprise her. Friend, what kind of luck is this? Did she save the galaxy in a past life? Someone else? So jealous. Let the husband guess. Everyone chatted excitedly. The joyful energy was practically spilling out of the screen. Haley returned from the bathroom. Haley, you're awake. Me, the boss called. I raised my phone. Me, I've got a business trip this weekend. Won't be back till Tuesday. Haley pretending to be disappointed, another overtime. Me pretending to smile bitterly, it can't be helped. Life is a stage. The next morning, I saw their latest messages. Haley, he won't be home this weekend. First love guy, then I'm coming over. Clean yourself up and wait for me. Haley, shy emoji. Sent in the middle of the night, just as I was falling asleep. Can't wait, huh? Alright then, see you this weekend. Weekend, hotel. Haley's best friend clutched flowers, bouncing with excitement. Friend, I'm the one who shouts first, right? Haley's roommate, yes. You grab her attention. We'll set off the fireworks. Jack, is the camera ready? Jack, ready. He snapped a group photo. Jack, don't worry. I took photography in college. Leave the documentation to me. Father-in-law and mother-in-law held my hands warmly. Them were so at ease, leaving Haley in your care. Me, I promised you both. I treat Haley well. It's what I should do. Haley's coworker, the gifts wrapped. When do we go? Everyone looked at me. I glanced at my phone. Half an hour ago. First love guy's wife messaged me. That bastard of a husband was working overtime again. Judging by the time, they should be at it by now. Me, we leave now. I waved. Me, follow me. At that moment, I felt like an ancient general, leading a massive army northward to punish a traitor. The motorcade rolled into the neighborhood. In the elevator, the air was festive. Once we arrived, everyone instinctively held their breath. The silence felt like a balloon about to burst. We all waited for the explosion. The keypad beeped. I had brought the key. The key slid into the lock, turned slowly. The door opened. Her best friend stepped in first. On tiptoe, she crept toward the bedroom, then suddenly flung the door open. Friend Haley, surprise. Her voice froze mid-word. The S hissed out like air from a leaking balloon. She stood frozen, and the others came in behind her. Second, third, everyone paused, like someone had hit the stop button. No movement, no sound, as if lying on that bed wasn't Haley, but Medusa. All who saw her turned to stone. Dead silence. Thud. Jack dropped the camera. Its battery rolled a meter away. Me playing dumb. What's wrong? Dialing the police. I walked toward the bedroom. Jack, brother-in-law. He blocked me. Jack, that. His face flushed. I started away, but his hand clutched my sleeve. I stared into his eyes, wanted to hear how he'd defend his sister. Jack, there might be some misunderstanding. He looked at me pleadingly. Jack, please don't hit anyone. Let's talk this out. Me, misunderstanding. I feigned confusion, scanning the room. Everyone lowered their heads. No one offered an explanation, but they all stepped aside. And then I saw it. On the messy bed lay a man, pale and naked, his face full of embarrassment. He tried to flee, but the room was full of people. His clothes and the pillows were on the floor. There was nothing to cover himself. He had no choice but to lie there, exposed, and receive judgment. Haley was lying beside him, her face buried under the blanket, hair a mess, and her bare legs still trembling. I knew this scene had reached its climax. Generally, there are two kinds of plots for catching a cheater. If I were a hot-blooded man, I should have rushed forward and beaten the crap out of those two bastards. If I were a sentimental man, I would have grabbed Haley by the collar. Oh wait, her collar was on the floor. Then I would have shaken her by the shoulders and asked her why she did this to me. But I was neither. I am a calculating man. I came to strike at the heart. I kicked first love guy right in the face and shouted, "Why are you bullying my wife?" Then I hugged Haley tightly and whispered, "Did he force you? Why didn't you tell me if you were in trouble?" There was a stir in the crowd. I heard a deep sigh from Haley's best friend who stood closest to me. In everyone's eyes, I had carefully planned a surprise for my wife, only to witness her betrayal. Yet even so, my first reaction was to believe in her innocence. What a saint of a husband. Now I stood on the highest moral ground. "Haley, how are you going to fight me now?" "My daughter, how could you be treated like this?" Her father caught on quickly, delivered a hard slap to first love guy, and declared his allegiance to me. "You bastard, I'll beat you to death." With her father taking the lead, Jack threw a punch at his face, blood instantly splattering. Then Jack grabbed his hair and dragged him off the bed. First love guy screamed, reaching out to grab Haley's hand. Haley was pulled sideways. The blanket fell, most of her body now exposed. She screamed, scrambling to grab the blanket and cover herself. Her mother rushed to help shield her daughter, but Jack was single-minded. Hearing Haley scream only made him pull harder. "You still dare to touch my sister." Haley and her mother were no match for Jack's brute strength. In the end, that game of tug-o-war ended with Jack's overwhelming victory. Haley lay naked in the open air. I noticed someone in the crowd secretly recording with their phone. I calmly shifted position, making sure not to block the shot. It's basic courtesy when someone's filming, right? Who called the police? Outside, the officers arrived. I walked up quickly, held the officer's hands, and said tearfully, "My wife was raped." The officer paused for a moment, then patted my hand in sympathy. "It wasn't rape, it wasn't rape." First love guy panicked, suddenly found strength, and broke free from Haley's family's beating. "We know each other. She invited me. Ask her if you don't believe me." The officer glanced at him with disdain, then turned to Haley. "Do you know him?" This was the second hard choice I'd given Haley. If she denied knowing him, first love guy would be accused of rape, and he would surely fight back, revealing every dirty detail of their affair. Dog eat dog. Blood would spill. The show would only get better. If she admitted to the affair, her statement would become my key evidence in the divorce settlement for claiming emotional damages. Either way, I wouldn't lose. It was like Emperor Qin touching a power socket. Truly shocking. Now the pressure was on Haley. Her mother helped her into pajamas. Everyone was watching her, and her mind already seemed unstable. "Do you know him?" the officer asked again. "Please answer truthfully." "Yes." Haley nodded. First love guy let out a long sigh of relief. Her father's face changed, and he slapped her hard. "How could I have raised someone like you?" I wasn't surprised. Anyone could tell they knew each other. Besides, some of Haley's high school classmates were among the crowd. Still, I had to finish the act. I pretended not to believe it, yelled "impossible," and ran out the door. Revenge had entered phase 2. I booked a gaming hotel for 7 days. Then I turned off my phone, opened those old games in my favorites folder, entered a blissful world. When I was tired of playing, I'd order takeout, watch some movies, and chat on forums with fellow nerds. Life felt full and joyful. It was like I'd returned to my university days. No one was forcing me to work endlessly for a bigger house or a higher salary. No one glared at me just because I took a short break. 7 days cost me less than 3,000 yuan, but the joy I got was more than the 5 years of my marriage combined. Sometimes, you really have to lose something to know what was worth having. Without getting married once, you'll never know how sweet the single life actually is. 1 week later, I reinstalled WeChat, turned off the do not disturb mode. My phone vibrated for over half an hour. Scrolling down, it was all unread messages. I skimmed through them. Haley and her family were going crazy trying to reach me. My ex-in-laws said Haley had truly repented, that if I could just give her one more chance, she would never go against my word again. They made it sound so sincere. Spectators, while gossiping, also sent me messages of sympathy. I browsed through the live updates, people sending me real-time coverage of Haley's family. The first day, it exploded. It stirred quite the wave in the local community. Public accounts and minor influencers all picked it up. I was even featured in articles titled, "Why Men Don't Want to Get Married Anymore." The second day, Haley's family didn't leave the house. The neighborhood's scorn almost drowned them. On the third day, Haley's company issued a statement. They declared that her behavior had seriously damaged their public image, and she was fired. Haley didn't dare go back to collect her things. The company had someone toss all her belongings straight into a trash bin. On the fourth day, just as I was reading the updates with interest, they called. "Hello." I answered. "Rocky, you finally picked up." Her dad was so excited. You'd think he had discovered a new continent or given me my first first pair of basketball shoes. Where are you now will come find you. These past days we've given Haley a serious talk. You two still have feelings. Don't. I'll come to you. I cut him off. Some things are better said in person. Okay, alright, sure. But Rocky, you two have years of history. Please don't act rashly. Years of history. I used to think Haley and I would grow old together. But after reading the chat logs, I realized that, hidden in the gaps of our shared life, was always the shadow of someone else. Haley didn't pursue me because she liked my stability or ambition, or because I looked handsome when I worked. She did it because her ex was flirting with another girl, and out of spite, she wanted to get back at him. 3 years later, we got married. We even moved the wedding up by 6 months, not for some auspicious date, but to beat her ex by 1 day. 2 years ago, Haley got pregnant, but without even discussing it with me. She had an abortion. She said, "My career is on the rise. We're still young. We can have kids later." But in truth, her ex had returned to his hometown. They got back in touch. In romance novels, there's always that unforgettable first love, the one you reunite with years later. But if you want to be loyal, then stay loyal. If you have principles, don't ever get married. The two of you are noble. You're special. Go act out your drama together. Why drag me into it? Disgusting. Jack was already waiting at the entrance of the complex. The moment he saw me, he ran over, wearing a cap and a mask, like someone too ashamed to be recognized. On the way, he tried to speak several times, but in the end, just patted me lightly on the back. His parents looked guilty when they saw me. After all, my beard was scruffy, my eyes sunken, bloodshot from gaming all night. I looked like someone heartbroken. Rocky, what Haley did was wrong. We've already scolded her thoroughly. Do you think maybe? I raised a hand to stop her dad, my voice hoarse. Where is she? Some things should be said face to face. Yes, you're right. Let the young folks resolve their own issues. Rocky is a good kid. I trust his judgment. Her mom added, "You can yell scold whatever you want, but life has to go on." I opened the bedroom door. Haley was curled up in bed, staring blankly out the window. When she saw me, she flinched, not daring to look at me. She looked worn down too. Dry lips, puffy eyelids. Clearly she'd cried a lot. Why did she cry? Regret. Regret that she wasn't careful enough and got caught. Rocky has something to say. Speak properly. Her mom reminded her nervously. Remember what I told you earlier. The door closed. Silence fell over the room. Haley kept staring out the window, but her fingers clenched the blanket tightly, turning her knuckles white. Let's be direct, I said. What do you plan to do? After a long pause, Haley finally spoke. This is my fault, but we should separate. That's the result of their so-called education. But I wasn't surprised at all. I knew Haley too well. She doesn't respond to pressure. The more you push, the more she resists. And now, her long yearned for romance was within reach. How could she let it go? Still, her tone wasn't quite strong enough. I decided to fan the flames. What if I don't agree? She looked up at me, her voice low. Rocky, a forced relationship won't end well. How funny. I laughed. 3 years of dating, 5 years of marriage, recognized by law. And now it's suddenly a forced relationship. Did I force you into anything? Did I hold a knife to your throat and make you marry me? I'm sorry. Haley closed her eyes, tears streaming down. I'll compensate you, as long as you agree to the divorce. At that moment, Haley's father, who had been eavesdropping outside the door, could no longer hold back. He rushed in and slapped her across the face. I told you not to talk nonsense. Divorce. Go live with that bastard and let the neighbors laugh themselves to death. Haley covered her face and screamed, I will get divorced. He's my first love, my true love. I already have regrets from my youth, and I don't want to spend the rest of my life living in more regrets. Fury blazed in my chest, burning so fiercely my heart ached. You brat, say another word and I'll... Her father raised his hand again. I said calmly, fine, I'll let you go. But are you sure he's willing to divorce for you? He definitely will. You don't understand us. Oh really? I couldn't help but sneer. That only lit more fire in Haley's eyes. I'll prove to you how much he loves me. Great. You'd better show me then. The next day, after I left her family's house, Haley's parents kicked her out. They told everyone they no longer had a daughter, given how much they cared about Face. I wasn't surprised. Now Haley had no way back. Her white moonlight was her only lifeline. But unlike Haley, I had left the first love guy a way out. First, his wife was still pretending to be clueless. 1. She was living out of town, so even though our side of things had exploded, she shouldn't know anything. 2. She didn't overlap with Haley's social circle, and no one had informed her. So even if Haley couldn't step out of her home, the impact on her first love was nearly zero. He still went to work, drank with friends, ate, and slept like nothing had happened, just to ease his own nerves. He tried a few times to test his wife's reaction, and he was terrified of his wife, because he relied on her to survive. 2 2 years ago, he lost everything betting on stocks and lost his job, but with his good looks and smooth talk, he clung to a rich woman. His wife was an only child with 2 factories in her family. Recently, he'd become a so-called deputy in the company, and his father-in-law was gradually letting go, but all the stocks were under his wife's name. He only looked powerful, but could be replaced at any time. Whether he stayed or was kicked out depended entirely on his wife's word. So this dream Haley was chasing of marrying her rich romantic first love with $1 million salary was mostly an illusion. No wonder she was ready to give up everything just to leave me. CEO lover, white moonlight, first love, rekindled flame. She stacked every trope imaginable. According to romance novel logic, I, the second male lead, was doomed to be stepped on by the hero. Too bad this wasn't a novel, and that man's love for Haley also a big question mark. The one caught in the fantasy was Haley. She thought he was preparing to leave his wife, but I saw right through him. He just wanted his home life stable, and his outside flings exciting. A wife in another city, giving him children, a first love at his side, devoted to him, spending his wife's money, enjoying his ex's affection. He wanted it all. When the divorce cooling off period ended, Haley and I went straight to the Civil Affairs Bureau. She signed without hesitation, wearing makeup, probably on her way to a date afterward. Watching her walk away without a glance back, I felt the last shred of pity die. Then I picked up the phone, called her first love's wife, and told her it was time to close the net. At exactly 6 p.m., the mini app detected Haley ordered takeout, even asked the delivery guy to bring cigarettes. I threw on a yellow uniform, pretending to be the delivery guy, and knocked. The door opened. Haley's face twisted in shock. "You." I gave her a small smile. "Still living together." Haley slammed the door. "What's it to you?" I stuck my foot in to block the door. She shoved a few times, but I didn't budge. "Rocky, we're already divorced. You have no right to interfere with my private life." From inside, her first love walked to the door. When he saw me, his face twitched, maybe remembering the day I nearly beat him to a pulp. "Leave now, or I'll call the police," Haley screeched. Her twisted face made me sick. "So quick to switch teams, huh? Go ahead, call the cops. Better yet, accuse me of trespassing, and let the real owner of this place come ask me personally." The man's face changed instantly. He quickly held Haley back. "Forget it. You two were married once. Don't make it ugly." I had to admit, he was quick on his feet, still trying to play the good guy. I chuckled. "See, your new man knows how to be considerate." The guy gave a stiff smile. I went on. "Since we're trading favors, I'll also pass along a few compliments to your wife. She should know what a decent man she married." I took out my phone, read out his wife's number, and played the video from that day. "Let's send this clip out. Just a little surprise for your wife." Haley scoffed. "Rocky, I thought you'd be more capable than this." "Send it. He's getting divorced soon anyway. We're not afraid." I sucked in a breath. Never seen a mistress so shamelessly proud of her role. I was about to nod and agree, but suddenly, he grabbed my hand. "Wait, man, let's talk this out." Haley's smile froze on her face. "Tony, what do you mean by that?" But her first love didn't even glance at her. "Are you short on money? I can give it to you. Name your price. Just delete that video." I chuckled. "Weren't you in a rush to get divorced?" Tony's expression twisted with unease. Haley gritted her teeth and pulled at him, trying to get him to face her directly, but every time he turned slightly, I made the motion like I was about to send the video. Just as expected, Tony obediently turned back. To his right was me. To his left was Haley, pulled between both sides. He looked like he was being drawn and quartered. Finally, he snapped, shoving Haley hard. "Can you just shut up? Can't you see I'm dealing with something here?" Haley fell backward, landing on the floor with a thud. She didn't get up for a long time. Did her heart and her pride shatter together? I seized the moment and began reading their affair messages aloud. "Haley, you've always been the one I love. If it weren't for the kids, I would have divorced her 800 times already. It was all my fault back then. You don't know how much I regret it. I regret it so much it eats me alive. Now heaven gave me another chance. I'll hold your hand and never let go again. I love you, Haley. There's no man on earth who could love you like I do." I paused, cleared my throat, almost choked on how greasy those lines were. Stop reading." Tony's pale face flushed red. "Name your price." "I don't want money. Not everyone worships it like you do." I said, "You have two choices. Either you slap her right now, or I send this to your wife. You choose." Before my voice even faded, Tony slapped Haley. Hard. Smack. The sound echoed like a gunshot. Silence fell over the room. Haley sat with her head turned, her hair covering part of her face. A red handprint slowly appeared on her pale cheek. She stayed still. Then tears silently rolled down her face, and her body began to tremble. I crouched beside her, grabbed her chin, and looked into her eyes. I spoke slowly and clearly. "This is the love you wanted to prove. The grand love you'd ruin your whole life for. I thought you meant something to him." With those words, I was ready to leave the stage. Just as I sent the signal, an angry voice exploded outside the door. "Tony, you dare keep a mistress behind my back?" His wife burst in, dragging a few burly men with her. She rushed over and started slapping slapping Tony. What did you promise me when we got married? You live off me, eat my food, and dare to cheat on me. We're getting divorced. Today, get the hell out of my house. The men pinned Tony down by his arms and legs. He turned to me, screaming, you said you wouldn't send it. I shrugged. My finger slipped. Then his wife kicked him straight in the groin. A dull thud. I almost thought I heard something crack. Tony's eyes bulged. His body curled up like a shrimp. Veins popped on his neck. His face turned blood red. Not just me. Every man in the room crossed their legs in sympathy. Tony lay on the floor, twitching like a dying prawn. Don't pretend you're dead. Get up. We're going to the civil affairs office now. Wife, I was wrong. He squeezed out a few pitiful words. She didn't buy it. And why should she? After holding it in for so long, a few weak words wouldn't change a thing. Tony reached out to grab her ankle. She stomped on his hand with her heel. Wife, seeing she was about to leave, Tony scrambled to his feet and chased after her. The room quickly emptied, leaving just me and Haley. If you don't ask him right now to choose between you and his wife, will you be satisfied? I asked gently. Haley looked at me, then got up and ran out too. So under the bright lights of the night market street, the crowd soon witnessed a drama unfold. A woman stormed ahead. A man with knees clenched together followed, hands clasped in apology. Behind him, another woman, hands on her hips, demanded loudly, which of your words to me were true? Do you want her or me? Say it clearly. It was obvious they'd caught a cheater. Spectators loved a scene like this. People gathered quickly. Some even raised their phones and started live streaming the whole thing. Wife, please calm down. Tony nearly dropped to his knees begging. You already have stomach issues. Getting angry will only make it worse. Sweet words indeed. His wife let out a cold laugh. Perfect if I die from rage. You can finally marry your little mistress. The pretty boy looked pitiful, nearly in tears. No way, how could I ever? She seduced me, that's what happened. Haley had already been ignored. Now she was so furious she could barely breathe. Tony, what do you mean I seduced you? Tony still ignored her, turning to beg his wife again. Just forgive me this once. I swear it'll never happen again. The child needs a complete family, his wife said coldly. Even a dog knows not to serve two masters. I spent so much on you, and you're worse than a dog. At least a dog knows who its owner is. We're getting divorced. Her eyes landed on Haley, and her anger exploded again. You even let her wear my pajamas. Tony, you've really outdone yourself. Hearing that, the pretty boy quickly turned around, grabbing Haley's pajama top with a tug. Riot. In a flash, Haley stood completely exposed. Even I didn't react in time. The pretty boy held the pajamas in both hands, presenting them to his wife like a treasure. Wife, your things will always be yours. His wife was stunned. Are you sure this is going to work? Later, I booked a hotel room with Tony's wife. Don't get the wrong idea. It was pure strategic alliance. From the hotel window, we could clearly see Tony's house. Still don't trust me? I smiled. We've worked together this long. Has any step ever gone off script? I want him to walk away with nothing. She still looked worried. Don't worry. I had her tell Tony, divorce isn't necessary, but he must cut off that relationship completely. Tony jumped to agree, pounding his chest, swearing it would be done. He even offered to record the whole negotiation as proof for her. Knowing Tony's kind, you could only imagine how heartless his words would be. As for Haley, with her reputation ruined, abandoned by everyone, she would never take this lying down. The negotiation was set for today. I lit a cigarette, leaned against the window, and waited quietly. Hours passed, no movement in the house. His wife wanted to text and check, but I stopped her. I had a feeling something big was coming. Sure enough, a fleet of police cars came roaring in. Haley, covered in blood, calmly stepped into the police car. Even a rabbit bites when cornered, let alone a tigress. A fatal lover's dispute. Tony invited Haley to his house to talk, but Haley came prepared. She drugged him, and when the drug took effect, she killed him. After her arrest, Haley remained expressionless. She said Tony's betrayal deserved this ending. That tiny block of newsprint was the final resting place of this so-called love. I lit the newspaper on fire. The cold wind swept its ashes into the sky. In the distance, lights sparkled in 1,000 homes. Tonight, the moon shone faint, and the stars stayed silent. The end. If you like Kitten's story, please follow and like it. Updated every morning at 9 a.m.